graphic communication and cultural studies, and she teaches also classes on telenovelas, soap operas in Venezuela, culture and society. She specializes in critical and cultural studies, international communication, and women's studies. She's the author of the book Venezuela es una telenovela. Venezuela is a soap opera, published in 2007. So I'm really pleased and glad that she's doing the presentation tonight. So Carolina, thank you very much. She's from Venezuela.
Good evening. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. There is a paradox that is highlighted in every piece of information you can find about Araya. Although it shared the 1959 Cannes International Critics Prize with Hiroshima Mon Amour, Araya was never picked up for widespread distribution. Hence, its glaring absence in the screens of the world and its obscurity, despite its undeniable importance to the history of Latin American films. Araya tells the story of one of the harshest places on earth, the salt marshes located in the Venezuelan northeastern peninsula that provides the movie's title. In an unforgiving environment where there are only two occupational options, salt miner or fisherman, the film follows three families for a period of 24 hours. But Araya isn't merely one day in the life of. It's really the story of 500 years in a place in which the source of all life is the ocean. Life as nature, nature as life, life in nature, nature in life, children at work shadowing adults before they become adults themselves, who then will be shadowed by their own children. Thus, Araya is about timelessness, and it is certainly a timeless film. One of the main tropes in Araya is a never-ending turning wheel. Life is a cycle, and the relationship between humans and nature is cyclical. This is underscored by a script that at times repeats itself, like a wheel that comes full circle. It is a metaphor for the rhythmic pulse of life, and in Araya, rhythm, you'll see, is of the essence. Salt, sea, sun, sweat. The bare and sheer beauty of images is also a key ingredient in Araya. Shot in high contrast black and white, this is a movie with incredible texture. Araya defines genre definitions. At times, you will be sure it's a documentary. Certainly, the film is not fiction. But director Margot Benacerraf has steadfastly refused the documentary label, arguing that she wrote the script as a story to be portrayed by actual people in Araya, not by actors. Regardless, some critics say Araya is a lyrical documentary with an influence from the social movement phase of Latin American cinema. To me, Araya is poetry. Images, sounds, and rhythm that elicit the best in us, the beauty and awe of reflection. But you don't have to agree with me because, after all, I'm not a film critic or a film scholar. I'm just a film lover. And I'm also a Venezuelan woman, and so is Margot Benacerraf, the director of Araya. She was born in Caracas in 1926. In 1948, she wrote a play that won an award co-sponsored by Columbia University. She discovered cinema at Columbia and was so captivated by it that she went to France in 1950 to study at l'Institut des Hautes Études Cinématographiques in Paris. 1 year later, she interrupted her studies to direct her first film, Reverón, a critically acclaimed 20-minute study of one of Venezuela's most talented, intriguing, and eccentric artists, Armando Reverón. After conducting extensive research about the historical role of salt mining during the Spanish Empire, Benacerraf returned to Venezuela in 1958 to film Araya. She was 32 years old. Only accompanied by a cameraman, she immersed herself in the life of the peninsula, towing an electric generator in a land so barren that there was no power to charge the camera. Araya was celebrated at Cannes with 2 awards, the International Critics Prize and the Higher Technical Commission's Award for its exceptional cinematic qualities. This was an immense achievement for Latin American cinema and an unprecedented one for Venezuela, a nation that today, 50 years later, can't be proud of its dearth of women directors, and a film industry that is still struggling to find a personality and a voice in the midst of inadequate funding and a general disregard for its products. After Araya, Pablo Picasso asked Benacerraf to do a film about him in the spirit of a diary. Picasso kept the film. It was later lost in one of his many moves. Benacerraf returned to Venezuela, where she headed the National Institute for Culture and Fine Arts in Ciba, founded the Cinemateca Nacional, and with Gabriel Garcia Marquez created Fundavisual Latina. She never made another film. In sum, we're about to watch a movie that resists definition, produced in an unlikely country at an unlikely time, showcasing a land no one wants to visit, a motion picture directed by a woman when Venezuelan women were only beginning to go to college, a highly acclaimed but not widely released film, a cinematic hymn to everyday life that I hope you will enjoy. Thank you very much.